Hi everyone, Hirsch Sai here, reporting from Auckland, New Zealand. Today is the 23rd of January 2024. It's a Tuesday, so yeah, basically towards the beginning of the week. Not really we haven't really made a lot of progress getting towards the end. Funnily enough, I actually remember a friend back at school saying, on Monday and Tuesday you can still talk about the weekend, and then on Thursday and Friday you can look forward to one, but Wednesday sucks because you can't do either. Some sort of interesting way to look at it, but I think I'd still rather be at Wednesday than on Tuesday or certainly on Monday. But oh well, however way you look at it, today is a Tuesday, Tuesday evening. But yeah, coming back to the topic of this talk video, it's something based on my own research, and I've also found it very interesting, very intriguing, and that's here where I live, my home country, New Zealand. When you compare the current generation to the last, and I'm talking specifically about cost of living, what's so interesting, even after you adjust for inflation and average income, because you might say, oh, people will always say things like, of course, houses or whatever, food, groceries, fuel, clothing, education, whatever you're talking about. People will always say, oh, of course it was cheaper, say one generation ago, 30 years ago, but income's worth less, so it's all relative. I really hate that. I really, really hate that argument because it sounds like it makes a lot of sense. It sounds like it's very logical, and I know a lot of people use it, but I think it's just too simplified. When you really look into things, the story can be quite different. And that is definitely the case here, at least in New Zealand. When you compare this generation to the previous one, sorry, this landlord's dog again, you can see its ears poking up there behind the couch. um, but here in New Zealand, when you compare cost of living, the current generation to the previous generation, even after you adjust for inflation and changes in average income, which is basically standard of living, only three things are truly cheaper today than they were yesterday, and that is airfares, yeah, electronic communication, obviously with the internet, phones, mobiles, computers, so airfares, electronic communication, and used or outdated machinery. So again, if it's like a car or a computer or a household appliance, if it's used, it's cheap. As the saying goes, you'll always pay premium for something that's brand new, no matter what it is. You'll always pay premium for something that's brand new. But if it's machinery that is used, it's cheap. If it's outdated, it's cheap. If it's used and outdated, it's cheaper still. So it's quite interesting when you compare the current generation to the last one here in New Zealand. Those are the only three things that are truly cheaper, even after adjusting for inflation and average income, and that is airfares, electronic communication, and used or outdated machinery. And that's great that, with a little piece of plastic, you can talk to someone on the other side of the world, on the other side of the planet. But, then you cringe when you fill up the gas in your car, or you really, you really feel terrified when you see your grocery bill. You wonder how you'll pay the next week's rent, or you wonder how you'll afford the next mortgage repayment on your house if you are fortunate enough to own a property and not have to rent it. So it's amazing how things have changed, but I wouldn't really say for the better. I mean, I wouldn't really call that progress. We've got some extra things that are not really needed, like I said, cheaper airfares, electronic communication, and used or outdated machinery. But we've seemed to have lost touch with a lot of the basic things, the things that we actually need. The things that are important. Food, clothing, shelter, water, education, healthcare. Um, but for better or for worse, that's basically what's happened. And it really does put it into perspective. Certainly will be interesting to see what happens another generation down the track. I guess we'll all see. Thank you.